Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video on Liverpool because Liverpool at the moment are in a bit of a sticky patch. I think that's more than fair to say. First 3 games of the season, they are yet to pick up a win and have just lost to biggest rivals Manchester United at Old Trafford for the first time since 2018 in the league, that is. And so yeah, it's not going too well. But they've played Fulham, Man United, and Crystal Palace so far, and haven't picked up a win out of any of them games. But yet beat Man City in the Community Shield just under a month ago. So yeah, bit of a strange start to the season. But it's quite clear that one of Liverpool's big problems, and this is ongoing, is the fact that they haven't got a consistently fit midfield that all play together like for a string of games. Because Fabinho stays consistently fit. He's usually available as the anchor of midfield. Same with Henderson. Henderson played over 50 games last season, and is available this season. And also Harvey Elliott as well. But what Liverpool haven't got is they have the remainder of their midfielders, all their backup options are just so prone to injury. That goes for Thiago, Naby Keita, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Curtis Jones over the past year as well has had quite a few injury problems. And the other player, James Milner, yes, there's still that thing about he wins the lactate test at the start of each season, but it's it proves he's got stamina, but it doesn't show about how can he deal with the pace of the Premier League game. Like there's constant change of pace in especially in the midfield, and he hasn't got that really. And he's never been a midfielder who has been the quickest, but yeah, at the age of 36, 37 this season, that's not going to get any better. So Liverpool, in my opinion, need to. It's not going to happen now, obviously, this late in this window, but with Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's contracts running out, I personally don't think should be renewed. Their contracts, I don't think they should be offered a new one because they're decent when they're on the pitch, but they're not world class, but they're steady backup options. But the fact that they are constantly injured all the time, yes, it's not good enough. Thiago when he's on the pitch is world class, but again, he's one who is injured far too often as well. But you keep him because of what he can do when he is fit. And Curtis Jones, okay, sometimes players go through spells where they pick up injuries, and he is still very young. But what Liverpool need to do is get rid of Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain next summer, and they need to bring in a proper number 8 in midfield. Now, obviously, the player who they've been most linked with is Jude Bellingham, but that's obviously clear that isn't going to happen this summer. That is going to have to wait until next summer. And even then, they'll probably face, competition from other clubs, like you'd imagine maybe Real Madrid if Luka Modric looks like he might finish up this season. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of other teams as well. So maybe even Manchester City if like Bernardo Silva leaves or something like that. So that there's going to need to be other options as well, just in case. Now, the one they've been linked with today is Yuri Tielemans. Now, for me, Liverpool have never been a club over the past 6 or 7 years, certainly in the Jurgen Klopp era with Michael Edwards as sporting director. They've never been a club who go for like quick fixes or cheaper, like alternative options. they decide who they want, and then they try and do everything, go all out to get that player. We've seen it with Virgil van Dijk, we've seen it with Alisson. So for me, it would be very out of character for them to just decide on someone else, and that's why I think they didn't go for Mateus Nunes, who has gone to Wolves. So I think they will hold out for Jude Bellingham next summer. However, is this a mistake for this season? Because obviously, with how good the top six of the Premier League is looking at the moment and how poor Liverpool's start of the season has been, is there a chance that if Liverpool, don't bring a central midfielder in, is there a possibility that Liverpool somehow miss out on Champions League football, or don't even come close to challenging Manchester City and, well, Manchester City, I don't want to say Arsenal this early on because they're looking good, but you need more than 3 games to show that you're willing to fight for a title for the first time. So if Liverpool aren't pushing City this season, then that's not a great look, because they're 5 points behind Man City this early on after 3 games. That's a big margin to catch up on. So, yeah, do they need to sign someone who comes in for a year, does a job, or comes in for a couple of seasons but is prepared to be a backup? For me, the answer is yes. But the problem there is that, again, teams will know that Liverpool are desperate, and they will, ask them to stump up the cash and overpay for players. So it is a tricky situation. For me, one of the answers is, is Roberto Firmino now getting to the point where maybe he gets pulled back into midfield? Because last season he had a lot of injury problems, but when he was on the pitch he looked quite good, and his goal scoring record last season was quite good in terms of goals to minute ratio, better than it has been these 2 seasons prior. So is it time he gets brought into midfield? It would be an interesting decision, and I think it might happen purely down to the change of system, because I feel like in football now, it's going a bit under notice, but 4-4-2, I think, is slowly sort of making a comeback in a way. It's not like teams are playing 2 banks of 4. That's never going to happen. You're never going to see a Pep Guardiola team do that. But what we have seen with Guardiola's Man City in recent weeks is that De Bruyne plays so far forward with Haaland that it is almost like a 2 up front. And then you have got, it's almost like a 3-5-2 where Rodri drops back in between the 2 centre-backs, Cancelo and Walker are pushing forward, and then Foden and, say, Mahrez for now on each wing come a bit more central. So it's a bit strange, but yeah. Would this work with Firmino if you play him up front with Nunes? It would be interesting. For me, it's a big risk, but given how late it is in the transfer window now, I think Firmino in midfield could be an answer. I'd like to see what it plays like, because Firmino is a very hard-working midfielder. He's a very hard-working player, and very good at winning the ball back, which would suit Klopp's midfield perfectly. And he's also good with the ball. So I would like to see it given a go. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.